Maybe some of you already familiar with our joint work with Nikolai Tsvetkov and Anatoly Tkach, Sovereignty, a Brief Manual, which was first time presented at International Conference in Geneva, Sovereignty and in the 21st Century and Future Scenarios. So my chapter was dedicated to Swiss sovereignty. Why Switzerland? Because this country managed to build such a political system that could be a benchmark or an example of its efficiency and fairness. And maybe some of them perceive sovereignty as an abstract term, but in case of Switzerland, it's, we can understand it better thanks to key elements. Jana, please change the slide. So, the key elements of Swiss sovereignty is federal state. As Ambassador Jean-Daniel Ruche already explained, the power in confederation is shared between cantons, administrative districts, and government. The direct democracy. In Switzerland, people really are involved in decision-making processes through referendum and initiatives. It's regular, it's often, and it's on all kinds of questions. Neutrality. Neutrality is one of the basic features of Switzerland, and it's really a part of Swiss identity and DNA. Cultural identity. So Switzerland cultural and linguistic diversity recognizes and respects different cultures and languages. And as Jean-Daniel Ruche already said, that they have 4 national and 3 official languages, German, French, and Italian. And Romansh is a language that only less than 1% of the population is speaking in Switzerland. It's a national language. Why I'm emphasizing these key elements? Because I think it will be very valuable and necessary to promote this model in Moldova and these values, especially about languages. So, and I would like also to share some ideas of our conference. Пожалуйста, следующим. Нет, еще второй слайд. Дальше, простите. Next slide, please. About Swiss neutrality. So Swiss sovereignty is a combination of these elements, and it developed through the history. And I would like just to mention that Swiss neutrality was originated in 1515. It was officially recognized by big powers and by neighbors during the Vienna Congress in 1815. And after 200 years of perpetual neutrality, now it's being put on tests. And it's supposed that in 2026 in Switzerland will be a national referendum to strengthen the neutrality in Switzerland. Next slide, please. So I would like to share some ideas and some conclusions what we came during the International Conference Sovereignty in the 21st Century and Future Scenarios. It was 2 days conference. Next slide, please. Yeah. So during the conference, Moldovan political scientist, doctor in political science, Anatoly Tkach, he explained and he did an in-depth analysis what is sovereignty, the history of sovereignty. He described the 20th century as a golden age of sovereignty. And regarding the sovereignty of 21st century, he underlined spatial sovereignty. It's about territorial integrity and security. Digital sovereignty, control on digital technologies and infrastructure, food sovereignty, and social-cultural sovereignty. At the same time, American-Swiss expert Daniel Werner, he said that sovereignty of 21st century is very challenging now, and it presents a mix of national, international, and global. During the conference, Swiss and French expert Hicham Lehmessi, he developed and presented few future scenarios which are quite negative. It's a totalitarian control, which recalls to George Orwell's dystopian novel, 1984. Then the government can use or exercise the control of the population thanks to digitalization. This opium wars and techno-aristocracy, it's very close. Opium wars, it recalls to opium wars in China because now a virtual universe or meta-universe can lead to disorientation of people, decreasing of critical mind. So it could be quite dangerous, and the only optimistic scenario is the Greek dream, the realization through technologies. Then, thanks to robots, thanks to artificial intelligence and digital technologies, people can free their time for self-realization, creativity, and knowledge. Please, next one. Coming to our time, to Moldova and Switzerland, the Swiss expert Gilles-Emmanuel Jacquet, he emphasized that now, on this time of polarization and geopolitical tensions, many countries are forced to take some of the sides. And neutrality is portrayed as cowardice, but in fact, it's a purest form of sovereignty. And he gave an example of Switzerland, who survived during 2 world wars in peace and had the conditions to found a Red Cross and United Nations in Geneva. Speaking about Speaking about the internal and external dimension of sovereignty in Moldova during that conference, and now I would like to emphasize that economic is one of the main pillars of the sovereignty of the country. And the process of Moldavian European integration looks like going pretty well. But analyzing the situation in European Union, we see that now it's switching to the military-industrial complex in the cost of reducing social programs. Can Moldova count on this for its economic development? And why Moldova is so strictly looking only in one direction, when we see that now in the world there is a transformation from unipolar to multipolar format, and there are a lot of other opportunities for the economic development and other economic power center of powers like SCO and BRICS. Also, here, here. One more point. So one of the important steps to strengthen Moldova's sovereignty could be a policy of active support of neutrality and open dialogue with Tiraspol or with Transnistria. And we already saw that this multilateral format 5+2 was quite efficient. So it's necessary to open or to restart this multilateral format to transnistrial settlement. It's important to avoid the negative example of Ukraine, who didn't take into account the opinion of a part of the population living in east of the country. So the conclusion, I would like to come to the conclusion. Yana, please change the... yes. The experience of multilinguistic and multi-ethnic Switzerland, who remains outside of the European Union and NATO, but who established mutual and beneficial relations with them, is inspiring. And I think that Moldova, the preservation of Moldova's sovereign, neutral and non-bloc status can help Moldova. It's a guarantee of the country's security and economic development, as well as the main condition for preserving the territorial integrity.